Hi, my name is Carlos with Comfort Star Tech Support, and in today's video we're going to be replacing an existing mini split system with a brand new Comfort Star system, and we'll be installing a surge protector at our disconnect. Let's get started. In our first step, we want to make sure that we pull our disconnect so there's no electricity running through our unit. Our next step is to make sure that there's no voltage between L1 and L2, and then we're going to test each leg to ground, and we have no voltage. We're ready to start dismantling. So we've gone ahead and removed the existing electrical from our system, and now we're going to start the process of recovering the refrigerant in the refrigerant lines. For this process, you will need a 5/16 to a quarter adapter. You will need your gauges, your recovery pump, and a recovery tank. The first step we want to do is take off the valves. And you want to make sure that both valves are open all the way. You're going to just screw in a little bit your adapter. Bring your suction line hose to the system and tighten. Once this is done, our refrigerant is going to flow through our manifold, from our manifold to the recovery pump, and from the recovery pump to our tank. So what we're going to do is we're just going to slightly open our suction line valve, and we're just going to purge our lines from air. Just a little bit to get all the air out of the lines so we don't contaminate the refrigerant. Now we're going to open our suction valve. You can hear the refrigerant already flowing, and we're going to start our recovery machine. As you can tell, our pressure will start decreasing as the system recovers all the refrigerant. Now that your system is at zero, you want to close your suction line valve and turn off your recovery pump for just a second while the pressure in your lines reestablishes and equalizes. Okay, we're gonna pull all of this out again, but you got to give it a moment for the vapor to turn into liquid, and that's why the pressure is going up on your gauges. Okay, so our pressure has gone back up to 7. We're gonna open our suction line valve and turn on our recovery pump again. We're going to let it go into a negative just for a moment, and we're going to repeat this process. We're going to close the suction line valve, and we're going to turn off the recovery pump and let it sit for a moment. We want to make sure that we recover all the refrigerant that's in the lines. Now that the system is at zero after 3 times of recovering the gas, now what we're going to do is you can go ahead and start taking all of the valves apart, and we're going to dismantle the system and bring it off of the stand. Here we go. So on our new mini split system, we're going to be installing a Smart Electric SPD50UL surge protector. It's a national code. It's supposed to be installed on any system that has a circuit board. We're gonna run it here through the side. We're gonna put our ring in. Now this needs to be connected on the load side of the system. So when you're installing your surge protector, you want to keep your wires as short as possible, 6 to 8 inches. So we're going to cut all of this off. And we're going to attach our lines to the load side. That's our surge protector is connected. Okay, now let's install the unit. Okay, so we've already put our new system on the stand. Now we're going to connect our refrigerant lines, and this is the way it comes packaged. Plastic covers on both flares that we're going to remove. Your access port for your gauges and your suction and your high side. So what you want to do is you can use this. This is a gasket sealer. It's also a thread sealer. When you're gonna put your lines on, you just want to put a little dab of the gasket sealer on the actual flare. Okay, just a little dab and down on the thread so that it doesn't come loose. It's gonna help your seal of your lines. You want to pull your flare nut back, and you want to manually seat it where you're seeing the seal come together, and then you want to slide it down and manually thread the flare nut. You don't want to do it with a wrench until you can't tighten it anymore, to ensure that you're not cross-threading your flare nut. We're going to do the same thing on the liquid line. We're just going to put a little dab of sealer all the way around on the flare, and we're going to put a little bit on the thread so that it helps seal. You're going to pull back your flare nut. You're going to visually make sure that it's seated correctly, and then you're going to manually thread it in till you can't thread it anymore. Just finger tight, okay? And now we're going to do it with the torque wrench. Okay, so when you're going to tighten your flare nuts, you always want to support your service valve, okay? And then you're going to get your nut and you're going to tighten it just enough without over tightening it. Then you're going to do the same operation on your liquid valve. And then later on, we're going to nitrogen test the system just to make sure that we have no leaks. Okay, so now we're ready to put in our high voltage lines. So we're going to connect So we've gone ahead and installed our high voltage on L1, L2, and our ground. And we've installed our communication cable to the head 1, 2, and 3 in black, white, and red. And this needs to match on the inside. I'm gonna put it together and we're gonna start putting our head. So now the next process is we're gonna uninstall the existing head. First thing you wanna do is open it, remove both filters, and we're gonna open the electric compartment. We're gonna disconnect the 1, 2, 3 wires, the communication wires. We're gonna loosen the cable tie. And we're gonna remove the ground wire. Our electric is now disconnected. We've accessed our flare nuts for the head, and we're gonna go ahead and remove them. We're gonna straighten them out, and we're gonna remove our drain line. Okay, so with the unit all disconnected, we're gonna lift up and bring back the head, and we have it down. Okay, so we're installing the new head. We're going through the wall. We are going to make sure that it's clipped on the top and that it clips on the bottom. And now the head is installed, and we're gonna connect the electricity on the inside. So we finished up wiring the head with the same color coordination that we had outside. Black, white, red, and our green on ground. I'm gonna put the covers, we're gonna connect the back, and then we're gonna keep moving forward on the installation, okay? So we've extended our refrigerant lines. We're gonna use the blue nylon on the flare part to help with the seal, and on the threads. We're gonna do both of them. Remember, you wanna visually see that your flare is matched, and you want to hand tighten them as much as you can without using a wrench. You do not want to over tighten them. We're going to put our drain line in our PVC pipe, and we're gonna insulate both lines. Before we seal it, we're gonna put nitrogen in our system to make sure we have no leaks. So let's go outside. So we finished the complete installation of the indoor unit and the outdoor unit. We've tightened all the flare nuts, and now what we wanna do is we wanna charge our system with nitrogen to at least 200 pounds. So we're gonna keep an eye on this. I'm gonna open the nitrogen, and we're gonna start pressurizing the system. So right now we're sitting at 150.7 as pressure in the system. We're gonna go inside and check our flare nuts, make sure that there's no leaks. It's staying steady. You can actually bring it up. Let's bring it up to 200 slowly. Okay, so it's sitting at 201. We're gonna close our nitrogen. We're gonna let it sit. And you should do that for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure that it's not dropping. Since it's not dropping, I'm certain that we do not have leaks in the system. What nitrogen also does, apart from helping you detect if there's a leak, it also absorbs the humidity inside the refrigerant lines, and that shortens your vacuum time. Okay, so it's really important to use the nitrogen for the leaks and to extract all the humidity. So we've been sitting at 200.9 for over 15 minutes, which indicates to me that we do not have a leak. It hasn't dropped down. What I'm gonna do now is release the nitrogen from the refrigeration system, and I'm gonna prepare our vacuum pump to do the evacuation. So our vacuum is on, and it's starting to pull a vacuum, and we're gonna measure on the micron gauge, and we're gonna take it down to at least 600 microns. So our micron gauge is reading 500 at this moment, so we've pulled a super good vacuum. The refrigeration cycle is clean, and we can close the suction line valve, turn off the vacuum, and we know that we've pulled a very good vacuum. On field piece, your micron gauge is gonna start going up right away. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some refrigerant, and then we're gonna open the lines. The CGS 09 CD comes pre-charged with 25 for 25 feet of line set. We have 62, so we have a difference of 37 feet that we need to make up for. Okay, on the CGS 09, you have to add 0.16 per linear foot. So that comes out to 5.92 ounces, which we've already added, and it's brought up our pressures. And now we're gonna open our refrigerant line. So you always wanna put in, after your vacuum, the additional charge before you open your lines, so that it's easier for it to take it in. I'm gonna start closing the whole unit up, and we're gonna get ready for startup. So we're gonna turn on the disconnect, go inside, and let's turn on the unit. Here on our surge protector, we put in the disconnect, so we're getting a blue light, which means everything is working and we have the proper voltage. Let's go inside and turn on the unit. So when you put in your batteries to your remote control, you want to make sure that your mode is on cool. Before you turn it on, you're going to push the orange button, and we're going to lower the temperature. And it's already cooling. And now what we'll do is we'll go outside and we're gonna check our pressures. So our unit is running. Our suction line pressure is at 115, 116. The suction line temperature is at 64 and dropping. We just turned it on. Everything is running. The fan is very quiet. We've checked out the whole system. On mini split system, you never do superheat and subcooling because the compressors ramp up and down constantly. So there's no target superheat or subcooling on a mini split. You always want to weigh in all your charge and then check your pressures and your suction line temperature. So this concludes the installation of the mini split system. It's up and running, it's very quiet, and we're done. So if you're doing an installation and you have any questions regarding Comfort Star systems, please feel free to call 305-500-9898 and ask for technical support. Hope you enjoyed this video.